Hello, and welcome to Keeper's Corner Podcast, where we're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. With your hosts, as always, Matthew Sterling, Michelle Brooks, and Brandon Brooks. Let's go. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Keeper's Corner Podcast. As always, it's Matt here. Unfortunately, Brandon is under the weather and will not be on this episode. And due to some scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to get another host. So, just me to say farewell to the season, I guess. As we all know by now, Utica lost in the minigame or the knockout game or the extra 15-minute game, whatever you want to call it, 2-1 to Milwaukee, and ended our chances at the Ron Newman Cup this season. Very different games. The first one in Milwaukee was high scoring, just bad defensively from both sides. Miscues, errors, diving, failure, ball watching, failure to stick to your man, rotate properly. It was a mess. Like we kind of talked about on the last episode, Utica didn't take advantage of Milwaukee's time off. They didn't come out and jump out to an early lead. And they played from behind pretty much the whole game. You go down by 3 goals, and eventually you're not going to come back from that. It can't happen every game. The bill comes due, you have to pay the piper. The devil always comes around to collect, whatever you want to say. But yeah, that's unfortunate that is how things went in Milwaukee. Both goalkeepers, who we know are very good, ended up looking highly average or below average in that game just because of how much offense there was. Just before half, it looked like Utica might be able to claw their way back into it, but ultimately fell 11-8 in a game that saw Utica outshoot Milwaukee 29-23. But that yellow card, too many cards, man, too many cards. You're not going to come back from that. You gave up 3 power play goals, right? Or Milwaukee. Sorry, 2 power play goals and 3 chances. One for too many men, which is a mistake that just is not acceptable at this point in the year. You gave up a shorthanded goal for the second game in a row. Again, terrible mistake. Can't happen. Correa got hit with the yellow card for encroachment. Gordy's reckless tackle, major penal penalty combo hurt the offense because he missed 7 minutes of play, and it is what it is, man. But a lot of mistakes. Utica just did not play their style of play, which we saw in the first game at home when they came back, and it was low scoring, and that one could have been a much bigger blowout. Utica failed to convert. More credit goes to Willie B on that than anything. 4 goals allowed, but he had 7 saves. Coughlin had 20 saves, played out of his mind. I don't know. Just kind of sucks that I'm here to say goodbye alone. It's not the easiest doing this, rambling by myself. Stat that tells the story is defense. Defense wins championships. Utica didn't play with it the first game, and although they held Ian Bennett to 1 assist in the first 2 full-time games, of course he gets his goal in the minigame. You're not going to keep him down forever. But in isolating him in that first game and locking him down, they just left too many backdoor opportunities open. Half of Milwaukee's goals came from them playing it to the back post. And that was killer. At home, though, they come out, they score. Christian Segura either scored or assisted on every goal in that game to go up 3-0 and eventually win 4-3. We were kind of championing Steven Fernandez to get the start over Keaton in the playoff game. Didn't happen up in Milwaukee. They swapped him back in Utica. And Fernandez had the goal in the minigame, so congrats to him for scoring his first playoff goal. I expect a lot more out of that young man next year. Just getting a little more run time alongside his line mate and teammate in the outdoor game, Nilton De Andrade. This is going to be a real short one, guys. I don't know what else to say. I mean, fans were amazing, as always. Packed it in the odd. Over 6,000 attendees between the two games. That'll cap pretty much everyone in the playoffs this year, unless San Diego has an absolutely insane crowd show up for the Ron Newman Cup final, or this weekend after having the rough Easter Sunday. Yeah, I mean, the goings-on in the league are a little weird. Milwaukee lost home field advantage for this one due to arena availability, and now Baltimore doesn't even get a home game at all in the Eastern Division Finals due to issues with the arena availability. It's weird. Chihuahua and San Diego played a close game last night. Chihuahua won 6-5. Baltimore and Wave play on Friday. Chihuahua Sockers will finish up their series Friday night. Sunday, the Wave and the Blast play in the middle of the afternoon, so that's a good matinee for anyone here on the East Coast to watch. The awards were announced. Congratulations, Gordy Gerson, being named to the All-MASL second team. Well-deserved honor. It's only 1 year in Utica, but hopefully he'll be back for many more, or at least one more. We know there's some, with this league, a lot of things come down to off-field circumstances, and we fully understand if he can't come back, but obviously the fans would love to see him here. They did announce all the awards, as I said. Your regular season MVP was Nick Pereira. Carried his team to the playoffs. I mean, it's a shame that that Tacoma didn't really show up in their play-in game. Boris Pardo was named as the goalkeeper of the year, which, hey, you got a sub 4 goals allowed against. Yeah, we know the defense there is fantastic and that helps, but he still had a great season. Can't take anything away from him for that. Defender of the year went to Rafa Alves of the Florida Tropics. Look, it's tough to pick a defender of the year just because everybody looks at things differently. Do you look at how the teams, how many blocks they had, stuff like that? Because you don't really have other stats for, no one tracks plus or minus for how these guys do at keeping goals or gaining goals or giving up goals when they're on the turf. Or, minutes aren't tracked, at least publicly, that we're aware of. Because that would be another thing that could play into it. But Alves had some very big saves right off the goal line in the last couple weeks that I think solidified things for him. Coach of the year ended up going to Phil Salvaggio. I mean, San Diego, best team in the league. Can't take that away from them. I don't know if I give it to him, though. Just put simply, it doesn't just go to the team with the best record. It goes to the team with the best coach, who did the best job coaching their team. You could argue that Phil Salvaggio, and not to take anything away from him, doesn't earn that award simply because of how strong the roster is in San Diego. Phil Jackson in the NBA has 11 NBA titles, more than any other coach. He only got Coach of the Year one time. Joe Torre, when he managed the Yankees, took them to 7 World Series in 8 years, winning 4. 6 World Series in 8 years, winning 4 of them, and managed to get 2 AL Managers of the Year. I felt like, you really could have given that one to Tattoo for what he did in Mesquite. Coach Oliveira in Milwaukee was nominated as well. Not so much there, simply because I think what hurt the Wave last year is the same thing that hurt Utica last year more than anything, and that was the lack of being able to play in 2021. Yeah, I mean, everybody that was nominated was well-deserved, in my opinion. You can split hairs on who gets the awards at the end of the day, but you can't really complain. Would it have been nice to get a little more recognition for what Coach Everton Moreira has done here in Utica? Absolutely. Ultimately, I think everyone here would rather win a Ron Newman Cup than individual awards. So, in the next couple of years, maybe that can happen. There seems to be a good young core developing behind the older core. And I guess with that, I should briefly touch on just some pure speculation here. But there's going to be some roster turnover this year. There was a lot last year. We know that Schindler left, Moy left. A lot of turnover, just from players that have become fan favorites. And you look at this year's roster, obviously we don't know what contracts look like because, of course, the league doesn't share that. And it's not big enough to be tracked like Spot Track does for other major leagues. I think you've got a lot of young guys who we see get signed again next year, just as training team and depth pieces. The guys you really got to keep an eye on, though, are those in their 30s who could retire. Nate Bordeaux, he's starting to get up there. Probably has a couple more seasons in him, but he had a tough season, not on the field, outside of the injury. Obviously, the murder of Ava played a role in his mental health, and fully understand that. It's incredibly difficult to lose someone you're close to, especially if, like in Nate's role, he was a mentor to her, and to have them taken away in a tragedy, you're not going to recover from that easily. Taylor, Walter Bond, huge. Look, I will eat crow on it. I did not expect the second half that he had coming to Utica. It was great to see a little bit of resurgence out of him. He's mid-30s. He's another guy that could decide to hang it up. Darren Toby in his 40s. We've kind of talked about it with the visa situation, and the only thing that makes me think, like, yeah, he's probably hanging it up is after the games on Sunday, when he was getting to leave 72. Like, maybe it was just because I was standing next to coach and staff, but said goodbye to me, and in a way that just felt final. Obviously, he showed this year that he can still play this game at a very high level if he wants to, but if he does decide to hang the jersey up, based on everything we've heard out of the locker room about him, he could have a very, very bright career as a coach. We've heard it described as, if Toby talks, you listen, because he's forgotten more about the sport than the young guys will ever know. I mean, another season comes and goes. We never saw Zuniga. I don't think we ever will. So, I believe Logan is under contract for another year. But, I don't know, he kind of fell out of favor with Everton there at the end of the season. To my knowledge, he was healthy. And Correa was being picked ahead of him. Yeah, he hadn't played since the middle of March, even though he said he was healthy when we spoke to him. If he's not under contract, does he kind of take the Ben Raymond route and go somewhere else to prove himself? Or if he is under contract, does he have to be traded? I mean, the biggest question around this team is going to be Bo. And I'll say this. Bo seems like the heart of the team. Just as Bo goes, so goes the team. We've talked about it before, where when he's calm and level-headed and focused, the team follows by his example and plays to that level. But when he lets his emotions get the better of him, sometimes it takes him out of games, and you can watch the team follow suit. Bo's going to be 36 by the time the season rolls around. He could certainly hang it up. He had a good year, 21 points in 22 games, 11 goals, 10 assists. That was his best season since 19 and 20. But in 21-22 and 22-23, he hasn't played up to the level that I think he knows he was capable of in the pre-pandemic era. You got to wonder just how by the time next season comes around, it'll be the fourth year since he had 15 goals and 21 assists in 20 games. I guess what makes it feel like that might have been the last we saw of our captain was, I will say I was late getting to 72 just because I had to work and miss the games, and I had to work because I'm going on vacation this next week, so no episode next week. Sorry to drop that in. But when I got to 72, there were plenty of guys there. Rafa, Gordy, Nate, Correa. Toby made an appearance. Steph. Pretty much everyone was there, but I didn't see Bo at all. And I can't remember if last year he went to 72 after Utica's final game, but his absence seemed to say that it was time to move on. Obviously, we'd love to have him back as fans, but as an athlete, you just know when it's time. So, if that was the last, Bo, we wish you all the luck in the world. Same goes for Toby. Anyone else that might hang it up. Sorry, trying to drag this out a little bit just to give you guys a little bit of content, but this one's probably going to be about 15 minutes when I go back through and cut all my awkward silence out. This is just going to be me saying farewell to the season. There will be no episode next week. I am out of state on vacation. We will hopefully be returning in 2 weeks to do a season wrap-up, and by then Brandon will be better. We hope very much. Whatever this virus is that's going around that knocked me down a couple weeks ago seems to have hit him like a freight train. I guess I should mention we got the Utica Club jerseys that have been sold. At the time of recording, just waiting on a couple people to pay up, and then the order will be sent. For anyone that missed it, we'll see if we can put together another jersey order next year. Maybe not Utica Club themed, maybe something a little bit different. And then we'll let everyone know and make them available again. But for those that did order, once all the money's been collected, I will be placing the order. It'll take 1 to 2 weeks for it to print and ship to me, and then I will be individually packaging them out to each one of you and shipping them along. And when I do that, I will get you your tracking numbers and information. I do want to say thank you to everyone that listened this season. We just started this because we love talking about soccer. We love talking about Utica, and we wanted to share that with our fellow fans. And it's kind of crazy that at this point it's grown to where we have fans as well. It's humbling. It really is. I don't think there's really anything else for me to say. Hopefully by now you know where to find us on social media. That TeePublic store thing still going on. If you're looking for any Kid Dynamite or Great Wall of Utica or any other swag and team-based merch. I don't know. We're gonna reach out to a couple guys here and maybe be able to do something this summer. I don't know. It's right now. It's just still kind of compartmentalizing the season, and time to put it all behind us and focus on 2023 and 2024. So, I guess with that, I will say thank you for listening. I really, really do truly appreciate everything that my co-hosts, my fellow fans, and the players and team do for this city and this podcast. And until next time, go Utica. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to us so you never miss an episode. If that podcast app also has reviews, be sure to leave us 5 stars to let us know how we're doing and reach a larger audience. It really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Keeper Corners Pod. And you can always find us there talking UCFC soccer. Thanks again for the support. It's truly appreciated. One last thing. Go Utica.